right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday and a busy month of August. Well, you guys are probably getting this in September, but we like to hit a subject and hit it hard. That's the Super Syrah tasting. The Vintage Aussie tasting, which we had to reschedule, but we didn't cancel it. We're going to reschedule. You'll see it coming up on the calendar. And if you like Syrah, this tasting was amazing. Let me tell you, we did it blind because we didn't want people to like the money wines the best. And we had some very expensive Hermitage and Côte Rôtie on the table. Then we had some other wines from various places that maybe people don't realize they make great Syrah, like this Cafayette Valley Syrah from El Porvenir, which blind, a couple people said was their favorite wine. This is a 5,000-foot elevation vineyard here. The Cafayette Valley is near Salta, and very high elevation here. This wine had this beautiful nose, kind of sweet, pruny, brown spice, milk chocolate, almost like a chocolate glazed donut, man. Really delicious on the tongue. The tannins here, smooth and silky. One of the things we love about Syrah, and that nice spice, tobacco, and dark chocolate note on the finish. An excellent wine, like $45. I think we sold the last few bottles that we had after this event. The Clarendon Hills Hickenbotham Vineyard from McLaren Vale, to me, one of the most distinct wines on the table. That McLaren Vale saltwater taffy you get, really very distinct. And this 2003 vintage, a hot year here, like it was everywhere else. And this Hickenbotham vineyard now owned by the Gallows, or the Jackson family, I'm sorry, rather, as of 2012. This wine had a lovely nose of black licorice. Like I said, that blackberry fruit, that little salty kind of saltwater taffy note, and a lovely sweetness on the palate, fine tannins, nice freshness, maybe a little bwillet dry at the end. An excellent bottle, though. Nobody picked this wine as their first or second place finisher. The Cayuse, however, one of the cult wines of the Willamette Valley, no, the Walla Walla region is in the rocks. Christophe Baron was the first guy to discover this region, which is partially in Oregon and partially in Washington State, right on the border there. This wine's got the 4% Viognier, a la the Northern Rhone. They use a little white to fix the color of the grapes because of the high acidity of Viognier. And this wine had a beautiful aroma, just herbs, mint, smoked meats, bacon, really complex. A lot of blackberry fruit here, and wow, a lot of that spice on the finish, man. This wine just very big and tannic. Really, the 2006 vintage, this wine still needs a little bit more time, but a lot of people like this wine. Most excellent juice. The Pax Syrah Cuvée Christine, another wine that had a very distinct nose, similar to that Cayuse in its herbal nature, that minty quality as well, and it's from the Sonoma side of Spring Mountain. A big bouquet, though, black tar, that olive tapenade, roasted meats, blackberry fruit, lots of that dark berry fruit and smokiness showing through all the way through the finish. A big wine, still very young, most excellent juice, this 2005. All right, the Macchioli Scrio Syrah. This is from Tuscany and from the Bulgari region, and this is one of the pioneers from that region. These guys make some of the greatest Merlot, and this Syrah, just incredible, man. A big and rich wine on the nose, very sweet, still a lot of fruit. Almost like this Slim Jim kind of spiced meat note to it, really distinctive, but still had wonderful freshness. This wine, still lots of fruit, firm acidity. One of the biggest wines of the night, one of my favorite wines, and did get a few votes for first place. The only wine that I missed, well, I already tasted all these wines, so even though, I mean, they were blind, I had tasted them, I knew what they were. Everybody else knew what they were. The one I mixed up was the Fontodi Casa V Syrah. I switched that with a Chave Hermitage, which was the wine of the night on most people's scorecard, but this Fontodi Casa V wine, wow, incredible bouquet, had some of that lovely earthiness, that underbrush, that saddle leather, the dried cherry fruit, herbs and spices, just incredibly rich, and like I said, for me, a dead ringer for Hermitage, and one of the greatest compliments you could probably give a Syrah from anywhere in the world. This wine had those lovely smooth and silky tannins, the 2001 vintage, starting to drink nicely, but still very fresh, lots of fruit. This wine will last another 10 years. Excellent juice. The Hermitage from Chapoutier was the wine of the night, and this is a very historic vineyard right around the chapel of the Hill of Hermitage, and the wines are 80 years old, all on granite soils, very, very poor. This wine had an incredible bouquet of smoke, black currants, wild game, liquid graphite, lots of minerality here. Wow, just big and chewy on the tongue, lots of fruit, lots of tannins, lots of that spice, that smoky, meaty characters through the finish. Even though this was one of the oldest wines on the table, still has got years to go. Most excellent juice. The Guigal Côte Rôtie Chateau d'Ampuis is a blend of 7 exceptional terroirs, a blend of Côte Brune and Côte Blonde vineyard sites. And this wine had a really unique nose also, kind of smoky meats, bacon, this lovely ripe red plum fruit, very complex, and almost like a mature Bordeaux, the 2000 vintage. vintage, really drinking nicely. This fresh earth and cedar character and cigar tobacco note coming through on the finish. Just velvety tannins, long and layered, quite fresh still. Excellent juice. I like the Hermitage a bit better, but definitely one of the wines of the night. And then we had a little Syrah from Black Bart Port, which... you know, Syrah's a big, rich red, something you could turn into a dessert wine very easily. This wine, very nice, a lot of sweetness, and still had some good freshness at the end. A great little way to finish up our Syrah tasting. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.